Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Hager number 340D-US2C. This is a typical latch protector plate. This would be appropriate, the 340 would be appropriate for use on mortise locks, versus the Hager 341D, which has the cutout here for the rosette of typically a cylindrical lever lock. Okay, so the 340 is the straight version, no preparation for a rosette at all. Dimensionally, Hager has this at 3" by 11". Okay. As you may have noticed, it has a frame pin. So this is going to, in this orientation, this will be the door, and it will swing out towards you as if you were viewing a left-hand reverse. You're going to drill a hole into the frame for this anti-prar pin to simply seat into. That helps discourage putting something between the door and frame and spreading it open, allowing enough movement for the latch bolt to no longer be engaged in the hole in the strike and allowing the door to be easily opened up, is why that's there and that's done that way. Okay. Now let's do a balance of a visual tour of the item. You can tell that the latch protector has a little giddy up there, and that giddy up is intended specifically to account for the fact that a door, if you were to stand on the pull side and run your hand over the face of the frame and the door, you'd notice the door is kicked in or inset a little bit, and that inset is totally standard. Some aluminum doors don't have it, but you generally don't see this type of latch protector on an aluminum door, even though it would certainly be appropriate. 3/32 or 1/8 of an inch are very typical insets, and that's what that little offset is there to account for. Okay, let me give you an idea of the balance of the dimensions. So this is the door edge. The door edge has the 2 holes for the bolts, which by the way are included. Hex cap, carriage bolt on the exterior, female sex bolt on the interior, Allen drive. Okay. Well, we can see where these dimensions all fall down in place. Okay. So to the start of the offset, you're about 1.25 inches, and then over the period of about 3/16 of an inch, it's fully offset, all the way to the 1.5 inch balance. 1.25 inch, quarter, 1.5 inch, 3" wide. Okay. You have a sculpted out area, a recessed area for the lip of the strike plate to be accommodated when this closes. That's very typical and common as well. Okay. Now these bolts are intended for 1 3/4" thick doors. That's going to be normal, typical, and standard. That's what you're going to get with that. Okay. 2 of them, naturally. The square underside of the head is to keep that bolt from rotating in that square preparation. Here and here. There is a link below this video to a document called Installation Instructions. They are literally the packaging that the unit comes with. And I've installed latch guards countless times. Very simple and straightforward after you do the first one. Step 1, place the flat surface of the Hager latch protection plate 3/16 in from the edge of the door. That's really important. So what they're saying is, from the edge of the door, you're going to want to have this flat area 3/16 from the edge. So move it away from the edge of the door 3/16, and that will give you the proper alignment. You're going to want to carefully mark the center of these holes, center punch them, reality check them, then drill them. I don't like to drill through the door because that generally has a tendency to do like a mini rupture on the inside of the other side of the door. I like to measure it and be very clear and careful, unless sometimes what I'll do is use a very small drill bit and then go through the door as a pilot hole, being quite careful to drill straight. Knowing that every hole is not drilled straight like that, I will check each side and generally mark from either side with a small drill bit, and then continue to make the holes larger to account for the bolts. Step 2, center the plate vertically on the center of the lock. So your vertical is going to be centered on the vertical aspect of the lock. That's going to be pretty close. The center line of the strike is not the center line of the lock, but it's very close. You're going to want to make sure that your strike falls in line there. But a typical 4 7/8 strike is going to have more than ample room to fit inside of here, which is basically 6 inch tall. Step 3, with the square hole held to the door, use this as a guide to drill the 2 5/16 diameter holes through the door. Okay, sure, mark your holes and drill them. If you want to use the plate itself, that would be fine. Insert 2 carriage bolts through the plate and secure with the 3/4 inch hex sleeve nuts on the inside. Close the door until the pin makes contact with the door jamb. Lightly strike the head of the pin with a hammer to mark location of the pin clearance hole. We're basically saying once this is installed, just close the door, let that tap the frame, and then you'll be marked correctly. With the door in the open position, drill the 5/16 of a hole, diameter hole to accommodate for the pin. Be careful if you have a mortar packed jam, expect to run into that as soon as you get through the steel, that's for sure. Now, this is the US2C, that means zinc, that means steel. Corrosion resistant coating over steel. The 340 is also available in the 32D finish, which will look quite similar to this, but it'll be made of stainless steel. The 341 is in both zinc and stainless steel as well, and you can literally find the 341 by just typing in 341D in the search box and you'll find it. Now, speaking of finding other Hager items, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up the full line Hager catalog and review everything Hager hardware related, not only trim and auxiliary hardware like a latch guard would belong to, but door closers, exit devices, lock sets, continuous geared hinges under the Roton name, weather stripping, aluminum and steel track and hangers for bypass, bifold, pocket sliding doors, but it's their namesake, Hager hinge, that they're most notorious for. Everything as it pertains to the industrial, institutional, commercial, residential hinge that can be imagined Hager can do. And they're a company that has been around, I think, when James K. Polk was president, and they're quite proud of that lineage, as are, I have to say, the distributors who represent them, but also an interesting phenomenon that I certainly understand. There are some clients who are absolutely partial to Hager, and I find that to be in the case of their lock sets. There's a seriously loyal following of Hager lock set clients that I have, meaning Hager, no substitute. And I've worked on those locks, I've rekeyed them, and I find them to be very good quality locks myself. But I've not had the benefit of one installed on a building for several years, as some of my clients have, and they're just absolutely outrageously loyal to that Hager lock. And you're going to find that same quality across the line. You're going to find that quality with the expertise in their customer service and their technical support. If you have any questions on the Hager 340D US2C latch protector plate or any other Hager product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.